Trade gives all nations the hope of sharing in the great economic and social and political progress of our age. And trade will give American workers the hope that comes from better and higher paying jobs. America is committed to building a world that trades in freedom and grows in prosperity and liberty. Today we have the tools to pursue that vision, and I look forward to the work ahead. And now it's my honor and pleasure to sign into law the Trade Act of 2002.
Agriculture depends heavily on trade. American farmers sell overseas more than 1/3 of everything they produce. As agricultural production continues to grow, producers increasingly rely on the global market to expand sales. The goal of American trade policy is to create growth and raise living standards by opening markets abroad and maintaining an open market policy at home. Hi, I'm Tim Brackman, Director of Corporate and Public Relations for the American Soybean Association. Since 1997, the American Soybean Association has held trade negotiating authority at the top of its agenda. For U.S. soybean producers, trade agreements are a critical component of profitability. ASA Chairman of the Board, Bart Ruth, tells us why Trade Promotion Authority is so very important.
Currently in the world, there are 130 free trade agreements that have been negotiated. The United States has been a party to only 3 of those due to the fact that we have not had Trade Promotion Authority for the past decade. It's important that U.S. producers have Trade Promotion Authority so our government can freely enter negotiations with nations around the world to bring our products to their populations.
The United States has fallen behind its trading partners and must now catch up. The European Union has 29 regional and bilateral free trade or special customs agreements. Mexico sped past the United States after NAFTA to complete 8 free trade agreements with 28 countries. Japan has completed a free trade agreement with Singapore and is exploring options with the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, Canada, Mexico, Korea, and Chile. Even China, just into the WTO, is pursuing a free trade agreement with the Association of Southeast Asian Nation countries. ASA President Duane Ford speaks about what kinds of trade barriers hinder exports of U.S. soybeans and products.
One trade barrier that hinders the import of U.S. soybeans are tariff rate quotas. Altogether, there are 130 regional free trade and customs agreements in the world. The United States is a party to only 3. There are 30 free trade agreements in the Western Hemisphere. The United States is a party to only 1. In recent years, when the rules of trade have been set, the United States has frequently not been at the negotiating table. Producers of bulk commodities, such as soybeans, wheat, corn, rice, and tobacco, typically export between 20 and 50% of their production to overseas markets. As U.S. agriculture productivity increases at a faster rate than domestic demand for agriculture products, the United States must continue to develop new overseas markets for its farm products.
Agricultural exports support approximately 750,000 American jobs, which pay higher than average wages and are distributed among a wide range of communities and professions. 1/3 of these jobs are located in rural areas, many of which depend heavily on agriculture and related industries for employment and economic growth. In fact, no other industry contributes a greater share of export benefits to rural America. Agricultural trade liberalization provides direct and indirect benefits to U.S. non-agricultural industries. The U.S. food and agricultural sector draws heavily from non-agriculture sectors for intermediate inputs, particularly chemicals, equipment, machinery, and services. Many businesses provide materials and services used by farmers and processors, such as fertilizers and machinery parts, and equipment and other services. As trade expands business for American farmers, it expands business for related suppliers as well. However, there's still much more that needs to be done in order to fully liberalize food and agricultural products trade. Agriculture is one of America's most competitive sectors, but in order to serve consumers worldwide, the United States must continue to increase access to markets.
Since 96% of the world's population and nearly 4/5 of the world economy are outside of U.S. borders, increased access to international markets is critical to the future growth and prosperity of the U.S. agricultural economy.
Past trade agreements have been good for the U.S. soybean industry. ASA supports complete elimination of all export incentives and import tariffs to create a global, level playing field for oilseed trade. As the world's most competitive producer and largest exporter of agricultural products, the United States can only prosper economically when other markets are accessible.
Fully 50% of every U.S. soybean crop is exported as whole soybeans, as protein meal and vegetable oil, or in the form of poultry and pork products. As world food needs double over the next 30 years, U.S. soybean producers are prepared to supply this increased demand, provided they have the access to these growing markets.
Exports are the fastest growing sector in the U.S. economy and provide the greatest number of new jobs. The creation of higher paying jobs, supported by trade, raises standards for tens of thousands of American households. A commitment to open markets has led to more affordable prices and a greater variety of things we purchase, whether it be household goods, consumer electronics, or even the food we buy. It is important to recognize that trade liberalization can also yield direct benefits to the environment, health, and safety. For example, by eliminating tariffs and other barriers to trade in environmental goods and services, the task of providing people with clean air, clean water, and improved public health is made easier. Nations can produce more power with less emission of greenhouse gases. By reducing trade barriers and efficient energy technologies, the world is moving towards sustainable management of natural resources.
Working through the WTO, the United States can speed the economic and social progress the global economy creates while improving the lives of working people, protecting the environment, and advancing the values of freedom, fairness, open government, a rule of law we all share as Americans. The United States must be a leader in shaping the 21st century economy and continue on a path towards prosperity, jobs, growth, and a higher standard of living for Americans.
Yes, the American Soybean Association believes that only through international trade can the United States continue to expand into markets abroad and provide consumers globally with a more reliable, diverse, safe, and affordable food supply. Trade Promotion Authority is a vital first step toward a new round of trade negotiations that will provide new market access, further reduce tariffs, and the opportunity to feed a hungry world. Now, trade liberalization has to be promoted on multiple fronts, globally, regionally, and within individual nations. To strengthen American agriculture, we must implement a strategy to enhance America's leadership by improving its economic ties, leverage, and influence around the world. For the American Soybean Association, Syngenta Seeds, and the Philip Morris family of companies' Shared Solutions Agricultural Initiative, I'm Tim Brackman.